Okay, this is the top cover. This is the finished one, as you can see. Here's all our different steps to make that. We've got 2 extrusions, one on top of another. We've got cut extrude, which are just these little circles that cut through here. Got a fillet. We have a new feature called shell, which looks like this. It just basically leaves an outer shell of a thickness, and we've removed the face right there. We've added these bosses down here. We have fillet, another fillet, which is underneath. And we have a hole here and some mirrors in order to create that hole. Okay. Okay, so I close this. And we're going to go to new part. Okay, we're going to start a sketch on the top plane. And we're going to do a center rectangle here. Okay, we're going to give this some dimensions. This is 4, 2.625. And we are going to apply sketch fillet, which is right here, to all these corners. I'm going to put in my parameter here, 0.25, and click, click. Don't touch on the corner itself. I mean, you can right there. That could be problematic. I guess in this case, it's probably fine. We can just click there. But sometimes you can select something that you don't want to. So I tend to kind of do close to the point here and close to that point there. Either way. Okay, fully defined as we need every sketch to be. Click to accept. I'm going to spin the model a little bit here. And we're going to extrude this up. Blind 0.25. And click to accept. Okay, we're going to do another sketch right up on top of here. Select this surface, sketch. Okay, we are going to practice using the offset command here. We want to take this edge and we just want to offset the whole thing in. So I'm going to, while we're in our sketch here, I'm going to click the down arrow and I'm going to highlight our last sketch right there. And then I'm going to go to offset, which is right here. And you can see it's previewing going out. We can do reverse, and that's what we're going to do this time, reverse. It's going the inside direction, and we want it to go 0.375 in. And that's so far in that we get rid of the radius itself. It kind of eats the radius when it goes in that far. Okay, click to accept. It's already all fully defined. Okay. This is going to go up the same thing. It's saved from last time, 0.250. Click to accept. Okay, now we're going to cut some quarter circle notches out of this shape that we just did. So I'm going to, you could do a sketch on this surface and cut up, or we could go from this surface and cut down. The book is showing us cutting down, so we'll just select this top surface here, sketch, and you're going to take a circle, and let's just use this corner right here. Add a circle, press escape, smart dimension, click the circle, 0.5. Okay, we want that to go on all 4 corners. We could manually go and do all 4 of those. However, the goal really with modeling is saving time and being efficient. So we're going to add construction lines like we did on the last part, except we're going to go and start with a construction line. So we're going to click on the right down arrow here next to line, click there, center line, and we're going to hover over the midpoint of this line here. And we're going to click once, we're going to hover over there, click again, double click, and then we'll do another line. Midpoint, midpoint, double click fast to get out of that. Okay, mirror entities. I'm going to mirror this, mirror about this line, check to accept. One more mirror, circle, circle, mirror about this line, check to accept. Accept the sketch. You can see what we're going to do next. We're going to cut these down to this surface. Okay. What we've done in the past is we've done through alls. If I was to select this, you can see it's going to cut that circle all the way through, which we don't want to do. We know this goes down 0.25, but if we did that, then it would be always linked to 0.25. So if we change the height of this and we went higher than that, it would mean that these still cut down 0.25, which is what we don't want. We always know we want this to go and hit this surface. So I'm going to go click here and I'm going to go up to surface, and then it's going to want to know what surface. So I'm going to click this, and then I'm going to accept that. Okay, next we're going to add fillets on all these edges all the way around here. This one, and the like all the way around. Fillet, symmetric, and we want this to be 0.25. Now be careful on this next step. You want to make sure that this is still set to constant size fillet, and I'm just going to click on any of these edges first. Now, click once. Don't move your mouse. If you go and select right here, it's going to loop all of those together rather than clicking every single one of those, which is a huge time saver. We're going to click there, and it's going to round all those, which is what we want. Click to accept. Okay, now I'm going to spin the model just so we can see what we're doing. And we're going to use the shell command, which is right here. For our parameter, 1.125 thickness. Okay, so we need to remove a face here. If we didn't decide to remove a face, it would just mean that it would hollow this out. And we need to open this up down here. So we're going to select this face. And let's also select show preview so you can see what that kind of looks like, right? Don't do this, but I'm going to delete this really quick, and you can see how the preview changes. It would just open that up, but would look the same on the outside. We want to click there so it shells this wall as well. So the textbook is pointing out a very useful tool, kind of a measuring tool, and there's a bunch of different tools we can use. We're just going to show how to use a measure tool. So go to evaluate, and you've got all these different things that it can do. We're going to use just the simple measure. All right. If we go down here, and we were to hover over this point, if we wanted to measure, well, how thick is this? We want to click here, and we can click there. And it's going to tell us distance 0.125. Okay? You can use that tool on all kinds of things. You can right click and go to clear selections. You could click on this line if you need to know how long that was. You could click on this radius for it to give you the radius, and in this case it tells you where the center location is as well. All kinds of things you can do. You can measure the height of things, surface to surface. Okay, I'm going to go back to our features, and we are going to do our next feature here. Okay, we're going to do an extrude. I'm going to do the sketch on this surface here. Sketch. And the book has you doing 4 of these, but I'm going to use the mirror command. So, center line, all right, center line is here, midpoint, 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 midpoint. Make sure those are all locked in there. Okay, I'm going to do a circle. I'm just going to put it right about in here. I don't want to click it on any point. I don't want to lock this anywhere. What I'm going to do is I want this circle to look something like that. So I want the center point of this to be the same as the center point of this. And I also want that to be equal. So concentric would mean that it shares the center point, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is equal. Right? So let me just select. You can do display delete relations here. That's a good way to start. And I'm going to select add relation. I'm going to select this arc here and the circle, and we have some options here. We want to do concentric and we want to do equal. So concentric we'll do first. You can see, if you zoom in, that it is sharing the same center point of this circle that's now trimmed into an arc. We want this to also be equal. So I'm going to click equal. Click to accept. Okay, let's do some mirror. Entities to mirror. Mirror about. Here. One more time. Mirror. Circle. Circle. Mirror about. Then this one. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we're going to extrude these up to this surface. If you did the sketch on this surface, you'd want to extrude down to this surface. There isn't a right way or wrong way to do that. Let's keep that highlighted and go to extrude. And I'm going to click up to surface and select the surface here. And accept. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to spin the model around and go to fillet. And our size for this fillet is going to be what? Let's see, 0.031. Okay, we want to go all around this edge and around this edge and around this edge. What we can do is we can select by face as well. And it does that for us, like so. Okay, I'm going to spin around to the other side. And I'm going to go to items to fillet, and I can select through faces for this. However, you can also click down here and go to shell, and it will apply those to that entire feature, as you can see right there. Okay. Next, we're going to add some holes with the hole wizard. I'm going to do a little different than the book does. I'm going to have it driven by a 3D sketch or a 2D sketch, which we will select 3D points off of that. So I'm going to do a reference sketch. I'm going to click on this surface here and do a sketch. And I'm just going to do I'll just do a corner rectangle, and I'm just going to find the center point of that by hovering over and then moving to the center point here. Do the same thing here. And we're just going to keep that showing like so. Okay, now we're going to do hole wizard. Well, looks like it already selected it. Let's do this. Wow, I didn't think it was going to do it quite like that. That's really cool, but I want to manually select. So I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to press escape. So we are unselecting that sketch. Hole wizard. Okay, so we're going to put in our specifics for the hole. I'm just looking at the book right here. We've got a hole, ANSI inch. This is screw sizes, screw clearances, excuse me. This is a number 6. Where is it? Oh, I screwed this up. Screw clearances, number 6. Normal. I'm going to do through all. Okay. For positions, we're going to do 3D sketch. And I'm just going to click on those points. If you didn't have that sketch, you have to drag it to that center point without the sketch. And sometimes the holes can turn sideways like this. They can get kind of goofy. It's just better, I think, in my experience, to just have a sketch that drives those. Okay, we've got our 4 holes. Just a note too, you could always do one hole and you could mirror across in the 2 different directions and it would be the same result. Okay, I'm going to hide this sketch here. So I'm going to click there and hide it with the eyeball. Okay, now does this have a material applied to it? I'm going to check. I don't see a material call out for that, so I think that was a mistake by the book, but we will just leave it as is. To learn more about our program, check us out at fvcc.edu, and for more tips and tricks, subscribe to this channel.